Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We are going to focus in on some of the aftermath or really the ripple effect of being involved with a narcissist, either a family member or a lover, someone who you're married to, someone who you're engaged with, or someone you're considering or you're living with for a long-term relationship. And what I find that perpetuates the cycle of abuse, the misperception, the triangulation, the smear campaigns, all the insidious manipulation tactics that the narcissist will engage in to keep control over their victims, their prey, their supply. We're talking about people here, and if we're talking about you, I understand that. Realize that they use people as pawns. They use people essentially as an outlet to achieve their ends. So, humanity is not built to be, relationships are not built to be this way. You need to have a natural homeostasis, a natural balance of give and take, of reciprocity, of respect, a foundation that is based in understanding, compassion, seeing eye to eye, at least, that basic human acknowledgement. Those experiences aren't generally experienced within a narcissistic or psychopathic or borderline relationship for that matter. So, what really has created this dynamic, and how do you really get out of it once it has really taken place or taken hold in your life? Realize that the cycle of supply, the love bombing, the grooming, the programming of the scapegoat, the programming and conditioning of the golden child, the programming and identification, creating an identity of a scapegoated person, a golden child person, a lover, a life partner, a soulmate, a housemate. That all this sort of conditioning that has occurred has been calculated deliberately by a narcissist to achieve certain ends. And of course, we all have certain ideas in relationships, but of how people are or etc. But really, from a healthy standpoint, there's a separation. In other words, there's a border between one person and another, and it's one of respect. And you let them go. You let them live their life. You let them have their viewpoints. You let them have their feelings. You realize that they have their own feelings, and you listen. And when you listen, you can learn about others' experience. It can add to your experience when you're able to relate to others in a healthy manner. You're able to give them that much, as a unique experience. But the narcissist, though, they will project their experience onto you. They will project their viewpoint, their opinion, their control onto you. So you're not permitted to have your own experience, viewpoints, lifestyle. And if you do attempt to bring those up, oftentimes I find that people are criticized, berated, try to be controlled or, confused. And so really out of touch with their own value base and able to be directed from that internal locus of control that we talk about here on the channel. So really, how does that cycle even become, how does it even become instilled in the beginning, and why do people perpetuate it? Well, the love bombing in the beginning, the conditioning, the programming of the scapegoat, the conditioning, the programming of the golden child, the conditioning, the programming of a lover, you tend to take this in and really as a sense of identity. In other words, what I find is people then take the identity on, unbeknownst to them, they identify with that goal, with that role. And then what happens is that the narcissist, they will be controlling that identity within your cycle, within the cycle, and basically part of their mask will be that one of idealized to the quote unquote supply person, the target, the victim, if you will. And I'm talking about people here. I don't want to use too many labels, but, I think just so we understand, we're all on the same page here. And, in terms of labels or, the dynamics that are interplaying here, so you can understand, where everything fits in this situation. And so, what I oftentimes find is that those who are most abused by a narcissist or a psychopath have at some point had an extremely idealized view of them. Like they are so smart, they are so charming, they are so affable, they're so friendly, they're so easygoing. You know, they won me over, they swept me off my feet. There's no one else like them. There's never ever going to be anyone like them. They're, the answer to my prayers. They're my soulmate. They're the one and only. So people tend to have this idealized version of them, which is oftentimes not real. And when you experience this person as different than most people, it's because oftentimes their pathology has made them different than most people. So this extreme charm, this extreme facility with their emotions, with their conversation, their ability to put people at ease, but yet lie pathologically. These people to manipulate and control, they become so good at it, they become so adept at it, to the lack of empathy that, people just think that they're this great guy, this great girl, or what have you. And especially in a intimate relationship, I find that people, they see this person as the one and only, that there are no others. They don't see the choice. They don't see the larger picture. They don't see the abuses as occurring. They don't see it taking place. So they tend to, because of that idealized view, and then a reduced sense of self-security, self-esteem, and self-limiting beliefs that they hold and host through the duration of the relationship, it causes them to undergo so much abuse that is really beyond their view or perception, and they permit it to happen. They think that it's in the name of love that I would withstand this, or this person in this idealized view, they're so different than anyone else that I've met that I'm willing to, work through this pain, or, eventually I'll take such good care of them that it'll balance out later. It'll balance out in the future. Eventually they'll come to see the light that I am so wonderful. We are perfect together, and that eventually it'll balance out. We'll get through all this denial. We'll get through all this conflict. We'll get through all this sort of shutting out and stonewalling. Eventually they'll see how wonderful I am for staying with them, and through working with them, and, all this people-pleasing behavior that I engage in. I'm always there for them. I'm supportive of them. I do this for them. I do that for them. All these conditions that are created and stirred up in the pot that keep this person enmeshed and tied and bonded in this person, in a relationship with this person, which is not really always in their best interest. So realize it's this idealized view of this person that oftentimes is the first hook, line and sinker, as they say. And that because of this idealized view that they're so unlike anyone else, realize because they probably are unlike anyone else. If you've had usually a healthy group of people, and then you find this charming narcissist or psychopathic individual who has, skills above and beyond, or charm above and beyond than what you're used to, and you think that this person is now, your partner, and, this is the one for you, chances are that's why you have this idealized view of them, because they have created that facade within you. They have created that facade, that mentality about themselves in your mindset. And then, when they do this, you're not able to see the fact that you're not receiving in return, or that you're not on equal footing as you should be. You're denied your very own glory, your own personality, your viewpoints, your talents. You have to be, it's like a one-way street. It's a one-sided relationship. You can't have the give and take. And then, unbeknownst to people, though, they perpetuate this and they allow it to happen. And it's because of this, oftentimes there's a lot of different things going on in the person's past, which sets them up to be in a narcissist or psychopathic relationship. So it's oftentimes we find in their family of origin where these dynamics are set up, which cause them to attract these people into their life and perpetuate these types of relationships where they're in this sort of role. That's a whole nother video and extensive topic of how, we attract violators, perpetrators into relationships the dynamic that is going on, and then how to break that cycle so you're not, perpetually attracting perpetrators and violators. Because after, 2, 3, 4 relationships of this nature, it's going to become apparent that, something is going on and needs to be changed up and tweaked up so that you don't perpetuate on that same path. So realize that oftentimes it's the idealized view of this narcissist that gets you caught up. So I would recommend, if you're in this stage of the game, take a step back, get a realistic view of them, and get a realistic view of yourself. Realize some of the pathological lies that they've told you about yourself, the false accusations, all the insidious comments that aren't true. Purge those out of your system and begin to embrace yourself as an individual, whole, high integrity human being with your own identity, your own viewpoints, your own values that belong to you uniquely and maybe aren't held by the narcissist. And so it's okay. Give yourself permission to feel good, to have your own values, to conduct your own life and in your terms and in your lifestyle that might be separate from the narcissist's control, because chances are you've been subjugated to living along the values, the viewpoints, the opinions of a narcissist, and they weren't your own. So, we find that oftentimes there's an adoption of this, the viewpoints, perspectives, opinions, lifestyle, and taste of a narcissist. Oh, excuse me. God, I got something itchy. Oh, sorry about that. You gotta love it, right? So there's oftentimes like this, I would say, an adoption of values that the codependent or the supply or the target, the victim, whatever label we want to describe that whole conglomeration of experience with a narcissist. But realize that oftentimes in that relationship, they've had to adopt those viewpoints in order to survive. They've had to adopt these values and kind of go along with them. This is also another good video topic, which is looking at the sort of mask that the codependent, the victim or supply, will have to wear to continue a relationship with this narcissist. So in essence, they have to lie to themselves to perpetuate and survive in the relationship. It's an adaptation, it's a defense mechanism, which we see most definitely in a narcissistic, as well as definitely in psychopathic relationships. So, realize that, give yourself permission to use your metacognition and really take a look at some of these relationships. And, don't let these people have you be any less in your life than you want to be. You've got to be yourself. That's your divine birthright. You are worthy. You're meant to live your life on your terms and experience that freedom, the happiness, joy, bliss, the ability to communicate and connect with others on your terms, and not just as a reaction, but truly as an action coming from yourself, coming from within you. And so if you've really been stuck in this, take radical action. Go out and make it a concerted effort to go out on your recovery date. Go out and do something that you truly enjoy, that is out of the grips of a narcissist abuser. Go and, go do your shopping, a movie, restaurants, reading, participate in your hobbies, doing things that you enjoy. Find a new workshop, find a new group to belong in, find a support group, something that is about you and coming truly from within you as an action and as a proactive step, versus living in a reaction and living a lie as trying to, that was instilled in you and was necessary for you to do in terms of having to adapt to a controlling and narcissistic individual in your life. You can come through to the other side and heal absolutely 100% after experiencing narcissistic or psychopathic abuse. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.